Okay, so good morning, everyone, or maybe it's good afternoon, or maybe it's good evening. I'm not sure where you're coming from, and I think what's really cool, seeing that on that map there is New College is a global community. We are coming from all places, and obviously at a time like this, working remotely, studying remotely, living, maybe perhaps where we didn't think we were going to be at this point in time, potentially, we recognize that we're coming from all over the place. And so I want to first start off by saying a wholehearted welcome. This is the first time someone's probably actually talked to you from New College before. And so I'll introduce myself in a moment, but welcome to our first session. Thanks for making the time today. Thanks for navigating, whether it be presence or navigating our Instagram and our emails to get us here. We know in a remote world it can be a little bit trickier. And so kudos to you for getting the first thing taken care of. But I have the pleasure of welcoming you to our first live session as part of our New College Summer Welcome. New College Summer Welcome is a program we typically run in person, but we're actually excited about doing it online this year because it's the first time we've actually been able to reach a broader audience, as you can see by our map. And so welcome to our community. Well, we're so excited to meet you, engage with you, learn from you, learn with you. Yes, our session today, though, for a Student Life Roundtable is going to have a certain different slant to what the work is that the Summer Welcome is trying to achieve. Summer Welcome as a whole is trying to welcome you to the community, no matter where you're coming from, in all areas of student life. That can mean co-curricular, that can mean academic, that can mean residence life, that can mean involvement, that can mean finances, can mean a lot of different things. But today we're really going to focus on the student experience and the co-curricular experience. And so with that, I'm going to bring us forward to meeting your hosts. So I'm Todd. I'm the Assistant to the Dean, Student Life and Leadership at New College at the University of Toronto. I've had the pleasure of taking on this role for the last 4 years. I love this role. I love this job. I love this community. New College is a fantastic place, a place that I've learned to kind of grow into my professional capacity, but also myself as a human being. And so the students here are fantastic. People like you that are engaged, they commit, they want to be a part of things. They're curious, they ask questions, but they're really a really caring group. And so I love my job because of people like you. And so I'm so excited to work with you. And I'm going to walk you through today what our first session is for our Student Life Roundtable. I also have along with us my great colleague, Alex. Alex is our Student Life and Residence Life intern at the Office of Residence and Student Life. And so Alex is going to navigate the chat. Alex is going to navigate all of our breakout rooms. She was the other voice you heard there when it came to annotation. And so it's a picture of Alex right there. But any questions, things like that, I won't be monitoring the chat. Alex will kind of tell me what's kind of going on there, any issues whatsoever. The last thing I'll say with Alex before I switch and myself is we have our emails right at the bottom here. You can email me anytime. I actually recommend you emailing new.studentlife, which is Alex's email. It's one that's overseen by more people. You'll have a quicker response there. But any questions about maybe getting access to this, or you couldn't tune in on time, or you joined late, or your friend couldn't get on, or something like that, any questions you may have, write to us. We'll be happy to answer your questions. Okay, so we've had a chance now to talk through some little engagement exercises. I want to talk about what we're trying to do today. And so let's kind of begin with that. We always do outcomes for all these sessions because we want you to know what you're trying to get out of it. And so I'll kind of read these to you really quickly. So 5 things we're striving for today. And I underscored or underlined the word that I feel is the action piece. So we want you to recognize the connection between the co-curricular involvement and the academic student success. People think about the academics a lot, but the co-curricular can really be important to that. We also want you to be recognizing the commonalities that you may have in some of your feelings of your peers. So you're seeing a lot of people writing, I'm nervous, I'm excited, I'm eager, I'm curious, I'm thrilled. People are experiencing the same kind of things as you. Want you to recognize that. You're not alone in this. We want you to begin to develop some relationship with your peers, and we'll have a chance to do some breakouts in a little bit with some student leaders, have a chance to get to know each other in a small group without me and Alex there being maybe a little bit scary. You can kind of talk in your small groups and have a great time together. And then as we kind of get into more of an action-oriented work, one is want to identify pathways for involvement at New College and at U of T. And then from there, also then develop and generate an action plan for what your first semester will look like, no matter what our delivery looks like. If you're going to be working or studying from home, traveling to the GTA in Toronto, or perhaps somewhere else. So that's what our goal is for today. Hopefully that sets us off with a bit of a clear direction, and we'll move ourselves forward from there. I will say any questions as you go, feel free to raise your hand. Any questions as we go, put them in the chat. Alex will monitor it. We'll be happy to answer those as we go. So the last thing I'll really say from a setting the groundwork piece is kind of just what our outline is. So we've had a chance to have some introductions in a light piece, but I'm actually going to do a little bit more by introducing some New College student leaders. So the whole point of you probably came to this session is to hear what it's like from an upper year student. We have about 12 of those folks that have made their time today to connect with you and want to get to know you, and we'll have a chance to meet them very shortly. We'll talk about why you should get involved and what the benefits of that look like. We'll then move into a breakout, some small breakout groups. We have a little more authentic connection with each other and some upper year student leaders. We'll pull you back and have a question and answer period and recap what those conversations looked like in the breakouts, and then we'll close it with some next steps as we look ahead into the rest of your summer. So unless there's any questions about that, then I think we are probably good to go. Okay, so I'm gonna just in a moment here turn it over to our amazing student leader panel. These are all new college students, students who have engaged in the new college community, people who have found community and involvement here. And so I'll explain what their opportunities were in a moment, but maybe I'll have each of us kind of run down and quickly say hello. And Adam, I'll start with you.
Hi everyone, my name is Adam. I'm in my third year at U of T and I've been in New College for the same amount of time. I hope we could work together and I could help make your U of T experience as good as mine has been so far.
Awesome, thanks Adam. Alan, you're up.
Hi guys, my name is Alan. I'm going into my third year come September and really love New College and I'm grateful to be here.
Cheers, Alan. Belinda, you're up.
Hi everyone, I'm Belinda. I'm also going into my third year, and yeah, I'm really excited to chat with some of you about New College today.
Awesome, Emily.
Hi everyone, my name is Emily. Like everyone else, I'm also going into third year. Yeah, so I'd like to welcome everyone, and hopefully everyone has a good and fun time today.
Laura.
Hi everyone. So my name is Laura and I'm going into my fourth year here at U of T and I'm really excited to talk about all the opportunities that New College and U of T has to offer.
Awesome, Lucy.
Hey, I'm Lucy. I'm going into my third year this fall and I am very excited to be here with you all today and thank you for taking the time to be here.
Awesome, Marie.
Hi, I'm Marie. I am an FSAT representative, and I'm super excited for you all to get to know your what opportunities you have on campus.
Awesome, Natasha.
Hi everyone, I'm Natasha. I'm going into my fourth year, and I hope to see all of you in our events and programs in the fall.
Nicole.
Hi, I'm Nicole. I'm a second year student at New College. I hope that today is really clarifying and gets you excited for the new year.
Awesome. Reynolds.
Hey everyone, what's going on? My name is Reynolds. I'm going into my fifth year and I'm looking forward to meeting as many of you as possible.
Awesome. Sabrina.
Hi, my name is Sabrina. I'm going into the third year of my program. I'm really excited for you guys to get to know more about the programs New College has to offer.
Awesome. Thank you. And finally, Sanjana.
Hi everyone, I'm Sanjana. I'm going into my third year. I love being a part of New College and I'm really excited to meet you all.
Awesome, cool. And thanks everyone again for making the time today. So yeah, these are our student leaders. These are people that are part of our community. And I love this photo particularly because if you look, you notice when they were talking, we have Laura in the green shirt, we have Lucy sitting to her left, we have Natasha in the back there, and we have Sanjana on the right standing up. So these are like actual student leaders in our community. And so this is not some stock photo that we use. This is who we are. This is what our space looks like. And so again, wanted to bring these people to kind of show you and introduce you and have a chance to meet with you. They'll be the ones running our breakouts in a few moments. I also wanted to kind of just quickly look that next column I shared there, Computer Life, first year learning communities, intramurals. These are a lot of the opportunities that are for involvement that you can find at New College and at the University of Toronto. And so if you are from home kind of following along, you're welcome to screenshot this. We are recording this and we're going to post this later. And you can also ask questions to your student leaders when you go to the breakouts, being like, what is this like New Journeys thing? Or like, what is Residence Council all about? And so you can also ask some questions about what involvement looks like. This is by no means the entire list. Even that line student groups, I think we have about 800 different student groups on campus. So it's not to say that that is one little thing. There's a lot of breadth and depth to the involvement. And so our student leaders can give you a little bit of insight to their experiences and answer some of your questions. Great, that's amazing. Thank you, everyone. So we're now going to move into our next piece. I want to just talk a little bit about, before we get into the person-to-person, student-to-student piece, a little more of an administrative, a little more of a research-based, what the why is for involvement. So, I mean, maybe you were in high school or maybe you took some time off before you came here and there was a big thing about, you got to be involved so that your resume looks good. You got to be involved so that your application is strong. And maybe that was a motivator for a lot of people. And I think that's fine. But I think that at the higher ed level now that we're at University of Toronto, we're at New College, we want us to be thinking about intentionally the involvement that we do. And so with that, I want to just kind of give a little more of insight as to what involvement can actually do for a student. So student involvement very succinctly leads to an increased sense of belonging. And so sense of belonging is one of the most critical experiences that students can have, particularly first-year incoming students. A sense of belonging really means that you feel like you can be connected somewhere, you feel like you are seen in a location, you feel like you are comfortable where you are, you feel like you made the right choice, you feel like you're confident to be able to express your voice. All that is encapsulated in sense of belonging. And student involvement, research indicates that is a direct correlation between those two things. And one thing that's really interesting about student involvement is that this sense of belonging, that 1 + 1 = 2 thing, comes together across all demographics in varying levels, but still, no matter what demographics we're talking about as students, this is a common result. And so with that being said, then it's important to think of sense of belonging as an important piece that we're striving for with our student involvement. So sure, a resume builder is great, but the developmental skills, the soft skills, the hard skills you learn, the communities you find, the experiences that you have, the challenges you face, all that comes to contribute to that sense of belonging on campus. And so to kind of just maybe put one last piece on this before we kind of move forward, I think it's really important to just think about sense of belonging and what it can actually do for a student. And it does 3 things. First off is it actually increases and improves the rate of persistence or graduation. So students to kind of see their way through their 3, 4, perhaps more years of undergrad at the undergraduate level, this actually helps increase students' rate and likelihood of doing that. People often think about, what about my time and time management? How do I do that? Ask your student leaders about time management, because we actually also have research that shows being more involved allows you to be better time managers. You have to be more dedicated and more delicate with your time. The next thing I'll say is also, you see improvements in students' mental health. So again, by having a community, by having a support group, by feeling connected and informed and having a voice, people feel like they're more centered, they're more supported, they know where to go if they need some help. And so that also sees benefits on the student mental health. And then finally, we're also seeing students' self-determined level of success. So it's not what mom and dad think, it's not what the university tells me with my grades, but people feel like they made the right choice. People feel like they are saying, yes, this is where I need to be. I'm growing the way I want to grow. That all comes with student involvement and sense of belonging. So it's a really important session. That's why we actually chose that for our first live one. So with that, I wanted to kind of just do a bit of a groundwork as we now shift into our next piece here. So it's about that time. We're going to get into our breakouts momentarily. And so this is how this is going to work. We're going to be broken into small groups. We have about 104 people I'm looking here in the call right now, which is amazing. And so Alex, I think what we're probably going to do then, given the numbers, we're going to go 1 leader per group. And what's going to happen is all those people that introduce themselves, you're going to be paired with one of them. And what we're going to do is we're going to have a chance to do a quick show and tell, like fun little icebreaker together to kind of chat, get some engagement in the group. And then we're also going to then move into some Q&A where the question and answer, where the student leaders are going to ask you some questions. They're also going to talk about their own experience, and they're going to leave some room for you to maybe ask any questions that you may have. So how did that go? Hopefully that was a helpful bit of conversation, a bit of chance to connect. Yeah, so I wanted to have a quick little debrief. We're kind of coming to the close of our session now, but I wanted to kind of do a bit of a debrief and then our action plan, and then we'll be off. So I just want to just ask the group, and again, if you're comfortable putting your voice on with the whole group, that's awesome. If you want to put it in the chat, that's cool. Whatever works for you. But just what were some of the major themes? I'm curious. What were some of the major themes that y'all were talking about in the last few minutes there? So what do we see? What were we talking about? Give me a bullet point. Can put your mic on, whatever works. What were you talking about?
I asked a question about housing in my group chat, in my breakout group.
Awesome. Yes, and housing obviously is a big piece, and so we have a session dedicated to like housing and residents in a couple weeks, and so I really suggest you get tuned into that one because they can answer all the questions about applications and things like that. But that's awesome. Residence life is really, really cool. Thank you so much. What else we got in the chat here? I thought Alex something.
So student interest in FLCs.
Yeah, so Flicks, first year learning communities, amazing. Co-ops, intramural sports, awesome, cool. Thank you everyone for putting some things in there. Socializing related, yeah, I think a lot of this stuff is also just to get some connection, right? Student groups, super cool. Leadership, student governance, love that. I'm sure Lucy had some things to say that maybe that was her group, or maybe she wants to talk to that person about student governance. Amazing, cool. Jobs on campus, for sure, love it. So I guess what I wanted to say then to the group, is there anything that got asked in the breakouts that maybe our student leaders didn't have the answer for, or maybe I can lend some insight to? So I looked at my student leaders or to anyone. Are there any questions we didn't have the answers for? Maybe I can help answer.
Hi, Todd. If I can just jump in. So one of the students asked about FLCs and specifically how they'll look like given the current situation with COVID.
And so by how they look like, does the question mean like delivery method? Is that what the question is?
Yeah, delivery method, and I guess if the program will be run the same way as it's usually run.
Yeah, so admittedly, and I'll say this as a bit of a broad stroke answer, the university and New College together are navigating what we're doing for a lot of these things. We're still in the planning stages as we're kind of navigating what it's going to look like for September. That said, I have heard some recent updates about Flick, or the first year learning communities. And the way that Flicks are operating is that I think they have committed to going fully online at least the first term. So for fall. So other things like courses and stuff, that's still going to be very variant. But for the first year learning communities, I think they've made a commitment to going online for the fall. They haven't made a commitment for the winter term yet. So fall meeting September and through to December. But in terms of the program though, we're looking to have the same structure, same learning, same goals. It's the same thing, just the delivery method will change. So Flick would be online to my understanding. Yeah, that's what I've heard. Other questions? I'm sorry, and so people that are wondering what is Flick? So the first year learning communities are a smaller group. So a lot of first year classes have big groups, big numbers in them. And so this is a chance to have a smaller community that are studying a lot of the same courses as you. And so you get a little notation on your transcript for taking part in this co-curricular experience. You can look it up online, U of T, FLC, or U of T first year learning communities. Any other questions? Okay. Okay, sorry. Sarah's asking in the chat, those who applied to Flicks were asked if they wanted in-person or online. So in the fall, it wouldn't matter if we put in person. Okay, thanks, Sarah, for that update. I'm curious in the timeline for that. I heard as of 2 weeks ago that they were looking to move online. So what I would say is, you know what? I'm seeing some not for certain here. Maybe email us at new.studentlife@utoronto.ca, and then we can maybe answer that question, do some more investigating for you. But I believe it's still online, but I'm not positive. I'm pretty sure though. No problem. Other questions that were not answered in the group? Student leaders, anything, or did you have everything for them? You're like, I got this.
Could I say something?
Please, go ahead.
So a lot of questions about like how student clubs will be affected by COVID and like whether students who won't be on campus will still be able to get involved in them somehow.
Totally, 100%. So, and maybe I'll leave Marie to answer a little bit about this as well. Marie being from one of our student clubs at New College, the Filipino Students Association. But before I just shift to Marie really quickly, potentially, groups are wanting to recruit. They want to bring people in. They want to connect with people. And so, Alex, if you maybe can pull up the ULife website that you can put in the chat for people as well. You can look out there for the whole university's range of programs. Murray, do you want to maybe give like a FSAT perspective on recruitment and engagement with first year students remotely?
So for FSAT specifically, we're planning to transition it online just because I know even some of our execs won't be in Toronto. So I think right now it's very tentative because they just released saying that we would definitely have the online, well, we might have the online in-person synchronous classes. But a lot of it will be like small, kind of like this, like Zoom social gatherings, events. A lot of things will be happening more socially. So on YouTube, on like Instagram lives, again, like on Zoom. I think a lot of it for a lot of groups is still tentative because the idea of switching online is something we've kind of like thought of, but like with the hopes that we might be able to do stuff in person. So I think we're still waiting to see how, I guess, COVID develops, but it would probably be a mix of both. In terms of getting involved, I know for FSAT specifically, like we have connections with first years, so we'll be reaching out in a lot of like Facebook groups. U of T itself, like we're not really sure how club fairs are gonna run yet because that hasn't been announced, but definitely in like any club fairs. Also, if you look up any student groups and DM them, like we've had students DM FSAT personally and ask about the club, ask about things they should expect from campus. So if anything you find is interesting, like feel free to reach out, like they'd be happy to answer your questions.
Awesome, Marie, thank you so much. And I would just say as a broad stroke in the chat, and I see some questions in the chat, I'll get to those, but in the chat there, Alex gave the ULife link. So again, if you see something that you're curious about, you want to reach out to people, students run student clubs. So they're just people like we're talking about here. They're looking to meet you. They're looking to engage with you. There's definitely a way to engage for sure. We'll have to figure out what that looks like, but the people do want to have you be a part of their community. So please do that. Okay, Alex, I had some questions in the chat. I want to go to the top and work my way down. I also want to be mindful of time, but I can stay for a few more minutes after. So for people to know, it's 10:28 my time. So the session officially ends at 10:30. So I want to go to my last slide, and then I'll go back to answering the questions after time. Okay, so the questions will be answered, folks. Just hang on for one moment. So my last piece for us as we say goodbye here is the next steps. So student involvement, we have some ideas here, but I want us to actually make some action plans, some tangible pieces. And so I have 4 steps for us to kind of think about. Some are quite easy. They're actually all quite easy. The first is on Monday of last week, you would have received an email in your inbox, either to the one that you registered with or your mail that you try to email. I'm not sure which one you may have used, so check both. Check your junk mail as well in case you didn't get it. But you will all have received an email from your e-mentor. It's an upper year student, just like the people that are here, that are looking to meet with you and connect with you over the summer remotely, answer your questions via email mainly. That's the main purpose of their engagement. And they'll be your person that works with you for your entire first year experience at U of T. So from the moment of this summer into the school year in the fall, all the way until you pick courses for your second year. So that's a person that's waiting to meet you. So if you haven't done that yet, write back to them on the e-mentorship email, and they will reach out to you every 2 weeks with updates about important things that are going on throughout the summer. So that's my first place to start. E-mentorship is super important. Second is, if you don't follow us already, we have 2 accounts that give a lot of day-to-day updates from New College student life specific work. One is our Life at New account, Life at New College, Life at New. And we have NC, or New College Orientation. Those are 2 accounts we really suggest people check out, or will be worth your time and be able to follow and stay in tune with what's going on. Then the last 2 pieces here, we have more summer welcome sessions. And so if you look at the e-mentorship emails, we give you that schedule. We're going to post it on our social media. But I'm letting you know right now that in 30 minutes, we're having a parent or family session that we're calling Supporting Your New College Student. Mom, dad, brother, sister, aunt, uncle, family, friend that supports you, that has a lot of questions for you and you don't have the answers. It's a great place to direct them. And so the link to that, I'm going to share in 1 second here. I'm going to stop sharing for a moment, and then you can check out that. And again, feel free to log in using those credentials. So I'm going to stop sharing for a moment. I'm going to share again right here. And so if you go on Zoom, this is that meeting ID. And Alex, if you want to copy this in the chat, that'd be great. That's the meeting ID, and that's the meeting password, okay? So if you want to tune into that, the Dean of Students, so my supervisor, Leah, will be there. Our registrar will be there, Carrie Huffman. And those folks will be talking to you a lot about, talking to parents, not to you, and family members, about how to best support the students that are going through all things right now, being a first-year student. So things like academics, maybe finances a little bit, but really it's more just about how to be a good supporter. And so I think if your parents or family have questions, send them there. It'll make your life a lot easier, trust me. So thanks, Alex, for putting that in the chat. I'll stop sharing, go back to this. And then the last thing before I go back and close out is my action plan for you. So the last outcome at the very beginning of this was to generate an action plan for yourself, to think about your involvement. I want you to start thinking about this now. You've had a chance to talk to some student leaders, talk to some students that you just met. You've gotten some resources, some links, places in the chat you can go check out. Now let's go do something about it. So my homework to you is leave this session. I'm not going to check it, but if you had a chance to log into Presence, any issue with Presence, we can also field questions on. But on Presence, there'll be a page that looks like this. And I will share that. And everyone's like, what is Presence? You also received an email about that. So if you haven't seen that yet, that's a place to look. I'm going to share my screen again. Excuse me, sorry, 1 second. Where is that? Oh, there it is. Okay, great. So if you go on to Presence, all the instructions of that are on your email. You can check out, and there'll be the Student Life Roundtable page here. There'll be a little note that says, when you're done, return back to answer the reflection questions right here. Click that link, it opens a page like this. It's really simple, and all I'm asking you is to answer 4 questions. On a scale of 1 to 4, do you recognize the connection between co-curricular involvement and academic student success? The next question, do you recognize the commonalities and feelings from the peers? And then writing out your action plan. You submit that, you have a chance to win an iPad. So that's kind of a good incentive for you. So any questions on that, say in the chat, we'll be able to field them, but that's the deal there. I'm gonna call it there. I'm gonna go back to the questions for the last few minutes, but people that have to go, no problem. On behalf of Alex and the rest of the student leader team, wanted to say thank you so much for engaging with us. Thank you for making the time today. Thank you for engaging with us and not staying passive. It's tough to do that, to come out of those comfort zones, and I'm really proud of you for each doing that. So excited to meet you all soon. And so hopefully we have a chance to do that sooner than later, but we shall see. In the meantime, we're doing this. We'll see you at our next call, potentially your family at 11 a.m. As I go to the chat now, if people have to go, no problem. I'll see y'all later. Please take care. Stay in touch. Follow us. Write to your e-mentor. I will now maybe take a few minutes to just answer some questions in the chat. A lot of messages came through, Alex. Maybe you can just help me field as we close out here.
Yeah, so one of them was asked by Jonathan. I could read it out. I just thought of something. If we pay for residence, but for some reason the government decides that we cannot move in, what happens? Will we get a refund and study from home?
I'm gonna make this real simple. So there are certain people at the university that are best people to answer certain questions. New.residence would be the best email to ask that question to, and Alex will put that in the chat right now. So you can email new.residence@utoronto.ca with an exact question, and they will have the answer for you. I also would recommend you to tune in to our residence session on, I believe it is July the 18th, Alex? I think it's July the 18th. We can double check that for you, but I think it's July the 18th. We're having a session like this about residence.
There is a panel this Monday on the 22nd. So if you look at Life at U on Facebook or Instagram, you will see posts about it. I think Facebook should have a post.
Yes, it does. And then in the Zoom link, all of it's located in the description. Hopefully that answers your question, Jonathan. Alex, what other questions do we have?
The next question, I had an urgent question, which I forgot to ask. My Acorn account does not reflect my scholarship right now. When will this be reflected, and who should I reach out for help?
Again, I'm going to refer you to the New College Registrar's Office, so Alex can add the link to that. So that would be the New College, I think it's newcollege.registrar@utoronto.ca. Double check that for me, Alex, and I'm pretty sure that's the email. And their team can answer those questions for you there. Unfortunately, I don't do the finances piece. Next question, as you write that, I'll look up on the chat as well. Who was the person that asked the last one, as I just saw? Okay, I saw a few Jonathan's. I see Chandan's question. I was wondering, okay, so Akshat, I was wondering how many students in this call are actually planning to be on campus this fall. I think people were just answering that, so I think I'll let that one go. How do we set our T cards and our UTOR IDs? So so I would literally just Google university. So Bizrat, your question about T cards, UTOR IDs, literally just Google U of T T card UTOR ID, and there's a T card office that has instructions on how to do that. Okay, so just straight up Google that. And I think Lola also responded to that as well. Thank you, Lola. Yes, you can do it online now, which is super exciting. And Sabrina already answered that question. Amazing. Okay, online appointment future. When does the fall semester begin? So September 10th. Thank you, Alex, for answering that. Okay, Alex, feel free to jump in too if I'm like missing questions you already answered. Oh, so here I emailed you last night about the presence login piece. Yes, I'm not gonna have time to do that today, but my colleague Jerusha will write to you on Monday about the presence issues. Any questions or access to presence, just write to us at new.studentlife and just say, hey, here's my name, here's my UTOR ID, I'm experiencing issues with presence. It's a new platform we're bringing on. We think it's definitely gonna be exciting and worthwhile, but we're just navigating a couple bugs as we work through it. So we don't know if you don't tell us though. So write to us at new.studentlife@utoronto.ca. Any questions about presence or otherwise. Amir, your question about the active applicant, I'm assuming you mean about residents. That would be a question to do about residents as well. So you can, Alex already had that note in the chat. Amy, about what is an e-mentor. An e-mentor is an upper year student leader who will be supporting you throughout the entire first year experience. And so they'll be your go-to person who you can write emails and ask questions to, whether we're in person or remote. They'll be your go-to person throughout the entire summer. And you can look at their questions in the emails. Alex, go ahead.
So e-mentor is synonymous with peer leader. So your emails will actually be called peer leader, and you'll see like a picture of them and a little description about them alongside information about the college.
And thanks for the correction, Alex. So just for everyone, just to kind of be transparent, we used to call them e-mentors. We recently changed the name to peer leader. So that was just me using an old term. So apologies for that. Peer leader is what we're talking about there. I'll fix the slides later for that. Okay, any other questions that I had there that I might have missed? And Sabrina, thanks for answering the questions in the chat too. I think that's everybody. Great. So we got through everyone's questions. So I'm going to call it there. Alex, I'm going to ask if you can stick around for a few more moments to kind of just answer any final questions. Student leaders, if maybe you have a few more moments to answer those too. I have to unfortunately run to the next session for the parents and families. So to each of you, all the best. I hope you're taking care of each other, taking care of yourselves. So excited that you all made the time today. This is such a, we didn't know what we were gonna get today. We got about 100 people today. That's so cool. So welcome, congrats on making it this far. So stay in touch, talk to your peer leaders, and let's work through this all together. So excited to have you though. Welcome to New College and all the best.